this is your glute strength circuit for the week 6 through 12 in the program. So we have 6 exercises to go through. There are a lot of ways that you can vary these exercises. So you can add weight, you can progress the band resistance. So if they start to get easy, you can progress in certain ways. I'll try to go over some of those ways as we go through this. I'm going to demonstrate this round of the exercises one time. You can always replay the video and repeat it once or more, or up to 2 to 3 times if you want. So if you're doing this on your own, that's what I would recommend you do. Go through each exercise for the repetitions and then repeat that round for maybe 2 to 4 rounds depending on how much time you have. So we are going to get into it, and I have a bench. You can also use a chair or couch. I've got a couple big long bands. I have a loop band, and then I do have a weight. You don't need a weight, especially if you're just starting this, but I do have a weight for the squats. And I think that's it. So let's get started. So we're going to start with hip thrusts. So I have the bench here. You are going to, whether you're on a bench or a chair, you're going to place your trunk, your back up on the bench. And then you're going to drop your butt down towards the floor and then drive up, tightening your glutes, only coming up so that everything is neutral here, okay? So no ribs flared, no tucked under. You're in a neutral position, neutral spine position. Don't let your ribs flare as you're coming up though, okay? That's a big one. Inhale down, exhale, come up. You're going to do 12 here. If you have a ball or something to hold, you can add that variation. Or maybe next time you do this, add the ball. You can also add a band around the knees and push out into the band the whole time. That's another variation. The biggest thing here is to keep a neutral spine and to not lift up higher than you can maintain good form, okay? So we're really working the glutes here. Adding in the ball squeeze, getting the adductors. Okay, once you've done 12, we are going to drop down there. And we are going to grab our loop band here for squats. So you're going to grab a loop band. We're actually going to put the band around our feet to engage our arches. Okay, I am going to grab my weight. You don't have to grab the weight, or you don't have to grab a weight, but the whole goal here is we are maintaining the arch of our foot. So you're keeping tension on the band, okay? And then you're inhaling on the way down, exhaling on the way up. Try for 10 here. Inhale down, exhale up. Don't let your knees cave in. Don't let the band pull your feet closer together, okay? Try for 10 here. Feel those glutes lengthen as you come down, contract as you come up. One more. Only go down as far as you feel comfortable. Okay, you may need to modify your range if you're just starting out. We're going to keep that band around our feet, and we are going to do side steps. Okay, so same thing. Maintaining tension on the band, maintain those arches of your feet. I don't want to see those arches collapsed in. Knees don't cave in, okay? Don't let your knees dive inward like that. And you're just doing side steps. We're working those outer glute muscles, important for stabilizing the pelvis. This is just a very basic exercise. There are so many ways to train the glutes, so this circuit is by all means not an end-all be-all. But these are great basic movements to master before you would move on to maybe a different workout routine or program to make sure that we've spent time strengthening the glutes. Very important postpartum, especially because of all the posture changes that occur during pregnancy. So when you're doing these, I recommend doing them to fatigue, okay? Or at least, 3 to 4 rounds down and back if you're on your exercise mat, or maybe 10 steps one way, 10 steps the other way if you're doing these on your own. Okay, we're gonna come back and then we'll be done here. But you should be feeling these in the outer hips, okay? Outer hips. If you're feeling them deep in your butt, your piriformis muscle is probably taking over, okay? We want to feel these on our outer hips, your glute med. So be cautious of that. That is one thing we want to make sure that we're feeling these in the right places to make sure we're getting the most out of these exercises. All right, we got 3 more to go. This time you're going to grab your band, make sure it's anchored to something sturdy. So pause if you need to get that done here. And you are going to hold the band in one arm, okay? And if you have a ball or something nearby too, grab that and put that in between your knees. My opposite leg is going to be the one doing the work, okay? So right leg straight, right arm has the band, and my left leg's doing the work. So right arm and left leg, okay? Inhale, expand through rib cage. Exhale, engage core, squeeze the ball, and come up, okay? We're going to do 8 on each side. For any of these, I have individual videos. If you feel like after going through this, you need a little bit more breakdown of the exercise or a little bit more time to practice it before coming back to this circuit, then check out the individual videos where I go more in detail on proper form, things to watch out for to make sure you're doing the exercise right. Then you're going to switch once you get about 8 on one side. Switch sides, so this time left arm is doing the work, right leg, okay? So I'm pulling the band down, tightening this right glute as I come up. Really working that posterior oblique sling of muscles, so my left lat is working, connecting to the thoracolumbar fascia that connects to your back muscles, and then working my right glute adductors here. So really getting that posterior oblique sling working, which is great for core stability, just proper function. Good, last one here. Once you've done about 8, go ahead and rest there. Okay, so we have got 2 more. We are going to stand up. I've got a different band. You can absolutely use the band you were just using. I just recommend bringing it down a little bit lower from whatever you have it anchored to. And here you are going to place the band between your knees, okay? And I've got my feet about hip width apart, and I'm going to do a hip hinge, so a band pull through. I'm going to hinge from my hips, maintain a neutral spine, okay? I'm not arched, I'm not tucked under. I'm maintaining a neutral spine, and then I'm pulling the band through my legs as I come up into a standing position, okay? Not here. Keep everything stacked, ribs stacked over pelvis. Inhale down, exhale up. Do 12 here. If you need more tension, walk further away. There should be tension on the band throughout so that you really feel your glutes firing as you come up. Okay, once you have about 12 there, we're going to let that band go, and we have one more exercise here. So this is a half kneeling hip flexor stretch up to a lunge. So we're kind of starting to work into that lunge position. So you're going to get a couple things here. So I have my right arm raised. I'm tightening my back glute here, feeling a stretch through that right hip flexor, and then I'm going to kind of slightly hinge forward at my hips, drive my weight through my entire front foot, and come up into a lunge, okay? I'm going to slowly lower, Slower is better here. Make sure I'm squeezing that back glute and working this glute. But if you squeeze this back glute, you're gonna get more of a stretch through the front of your hips. If you need to do a side bend, feel more of a stretch through that front hip, you can do that as well. And then I'm gonna come back up, exhale, and come down, okay? So I'm tightening that back glute to get a good hip flexor stretch, working through this left glute to stand up, and then slowly lower down. Really learning to own this lunge position, okay? I'm exhaling as I come up. We're gonna switch sides, tighten this glute to feel a good stretch here. Maybe you wanna play around and do a little bit of a active dynamic stretch here, moving that left arm to the side. Again, drive your weight through that entire foot. So challenge your balance, slowly come down. Inhale, exhale. So we're not only getting a good stretch through our hip flexors, but we're strengthening our legs here, our glutes. Last one there. So try to get about five or so on each side. And that is it. That is our glute circuit. So hopefully you felt your glutes working there. So we're working both outer glutes with the side steps and the single leg exercises, and we're getting glutes with the hip thrusts, and we're hitting it in all kinds of different ways. So again, there's plenty of ways to progress, add weight. Once you feel comfortable, maybe you have harder resistance bands, grab one of those. If you have a ball, you can add a ball squeeze to the bridge and hip thrust. You can also add a band around the knees instead, or just above the knees. There's lots of ways to change this up. So if you have any questions, please reach out. That was round one, so I hope you'll do it again. If you have time, maybe not this time, that's great. But try to work up to being able to do 2 to 3 rounds of that circuit, and you should really feel a good glute burn there.